So my name's Tori, and I'm a staff member here at the Other Side Academy. So a little bit about my background. I was raised in Utah County by a single father. My mom and dad were both drug addicts, liked to party, and my dad got clean so that he could take care of me. And he eventually got custody of me when he went to court with my mom. Growing up, my dad was on Social Security, had hurt his back, and so, we were, paid by the state. And so with that, we didn't have a lot of money. I remember shopping at Kmart for my school clothes, and I remember just not having a lot of money for grocery shopping or for extra. And at that time, I resented my dad. I resented him for, not being like the other kids, so I started hanging out with the bad crowd. I started drinking and smoking at the age of 14, started doing meth, through middle school and through junior high, and it still baffles me to this day how nobody saw, my friends and I doing stuff like that and said anything. I definitely got away with it, but not for myself. Going into high school, I got clean a couple times and trying to hang out with a better crowd of kids, but I ended up going and using again. When I was 16, I met a guy who was 19, and the good-looking guy with a good-looking car, that all the girls wanted, and he was addicted to pain pills. And he introduced me to those, and then we got into heroin together. By the age of 17, I was an IV heroin user. I graduated high school. To this day, I still don't know how that happened, but I did. And through my teenage years, into my 20s, I was a heroin addict, in and out of jail. But at that time, I just thought it was a fun thing. Like, well, yeah, this is fine to go to jail. It's fine to be a heroin addict. Let's just party and have fun, not realizing what that was really going to lead me to. In my 20s, I had 2 kids because I thought that was going to save me. I thought that was going to save me from myself, and it didn't. I just started using again. I would white knuckle it for a little while and start using again. Went to a couple 30, 60, or 90-day programs, and I wanted them to work. I got to the highest level. I got to level 5, but it didn't stay. And I didn't really understand why. But DCFS got called on me, and they came and took my kids, and I called my family and I blamed them for this happening to me. I took no accountability whatsoever for my kids being taken away from me and what I had done to them and to my family and to myself. More reason to go and get high again, and stay on that path, because I was the victim in those moments. I, lost my apartment, I lost my housing. I came up to Salt Lake and just lived on the streets of Salt Lake. I was the one with the backpack walking up and down the street, and half of the belongings didn't even belong to me. Sometimes I remember just walking, from downtown Salt Lake clear to, Sandy or something like that all night long with no destination. In 2016, I wrote a letter to the Other Side Academy while I was incarcerated again, and a woman by the name of Lola came and interviewed me. And I remember when Lola came in, I just remember you could tell she stood for something. You could tell she was strong, and I knew that I wanted that. Even though I didn't know she was just like me, but I knew I wanted to be just like her. And she accepted me. And I actually had sentencing that day, and I was sentenced to the Other Side Academy. My family brought me up here, and they told me, this is your last chance. We're not going to do this with you anymore. And when I came to the Other Side Academy, I sat on the bench and I thought to myself, I want to be somebody completely different of who I was on the streets, and I'm going to vow to that. I'm going to make a commitment to myself that I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, no matter what it is, to be somebody different. And I was a student for 3 years. In that time of the 3 years, I had developed, self-worth, integrity. I'd redeveloped my morals and my values, and I definitely take accountability when, I do something wrong or I mess up, and I definitely hold other people accountable. So now I'm a staff member. I help with the women's program. I'm also over medical, and I'm also over the graduate program, which I actually love, absolutely love. So sometimes we hear from people that they believe that the Other Side Academy's students are being exploited for work and for the academy, and that's not true. And sometimes, people need to come here and visit here just to see what really we do at the Other Side, because we have self-reliance. We work for everything that we get here. A lot of us in our life was just handed things, or we never really worked and kept a job and was consistent. And here at the Other Side Academy, we go to work every day with no excuses to come home to food and clothing and a bed, because we worked for it. It means more, and it has definitely more value when we work for it. So here at the Other Side Academy, we definitely value self-reliance.